Welcome to the We Talk Health Podcast, the official podcast for West Tennessee Healthcare. Please be advised that this podcast is not intended to replace any medical advice. Always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing said in this podcast is intended to supersede or supplement the direction of your medical caretakers. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at wetalkhealthpodcast@gmail.com, and we will do our best to answer any questions you may have.
Welcome to another episode of We Talk Health. My name is Kwasigroh, and today joining me back in the studio is Chrystal Dickson. She is a registered dietitian and the clinical nutrition manager for Jackson-Madison County General Hospital, part of West Tennessee Healthcare. Chrystal, how are you?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. So if you guys have been listening to the podcast or seeing any of the videos that we've been posting, you'll probably notice that we've been posting all kinds of cooking demonstration, cooking videos and podcasts, and we're just going to continue that today. So June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and every month we've been taking recipes that sort of focused on how to help certain ailments and certain diseases and how to potentially slow down those disease processes through the food that you're eating. So the recipe that Chrystal made, it was absolutely delicious. They were turkey taco lettuce wraps. I'm going to let Chrystal just kind of explain what those are, some of the ingredients, and how it can help slow down some Alzheimer's ailments.
We made the turkey taco lettuce wraps. And so those turkey taco lettuce wraps, one of the things is it's full of fresh vegetables. You know, we also use like the green leaf lettuce. It had meat in it, but it was ground turkey instead of red meat.
I honestly was surprised the first time I ever had ground turkey how delicious it actually was.
Yeah, and it mimics ground beef, you know, and it doesn't have all that fat in it. It doesn't have all that cholesterol in it. You know,
And it
it's
actually
much
doesn't
lower.
taste that far off.
No, and it, you know, you can season it up. You can substitute ground turkey for pretty much anything that you're using ground beef for. If you're making a meatloaf, if you're making spaghetti, tacos, pretty much anything, even chili, you can use ground turkey in the place of it.
I feel like people in the South especially, ground beef is kind of like a staple in the home. So like being able just to substitute ground turkey for ground beef, I think is one easy way of keeping your health top of mind, just by substituting that.
Yeah, it's a great, healthier substitute. You know, and we're not saying you can never eat a good, you know, ground beef hamburger, but, you know, doing a turkey burger instead more often it does help improve, you know, your health.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about Alzheimer's. So,
Please.
you know, it's the most common type of dementia. Your risk for developing Alzheimer's, it increases as we age. You know, when you think about Alzheimer's, it's typically older adults that develop it, but you can develop it at all ages, but it's more likely to occur with aging.
So what are some ways that our risk could be increased for Alzheimer's?
So if you have diabetes or heart disease or you're obese, you're at an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. So, you know, we can't do anything to stop aging, but we can do things to modify our risk for the diabetes and the heart disease, you know, with lifestyle choices such as diet and exercise. You know, there's no specific food or special diet that, you know, we can eat really to prevent Alzheimer's. You know, we get asked that a lot. What foods can I avoid and I won't develop Alzheimer's? There's really nothing, no certain food, no certain thing. I wish there were. But what we can do is focus on a healthy eating pattern, you know, that to help prevent diabetes and help prevent heart disease. So
This recipe is a great example of what you can cook at home to help with that.
Yeah. So it's a good low-fat, healthy recipe. Something that I like to tell people about is the MIND diet. It's MIND.
Okay.
So it is basically a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. So the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet are kind of two diets that both really focus on healthy eating. So they focus on vegetables and fruits and nuts, whole grains, legumes, those types of things in your diet. And then focusing on low-fat dairy products as well. So fat-free, low-fat milks and yogurts and, dairy
Gotcha.
things.
Okay.
One thing that both of those diets really promote is limiting fat, especially saturated fat, which is what you're going to find in your red meats. They really, limit your intake of sodium or processed foods. You want to limit added sugars and avoid sugar-sweetened beverages as a part of the MIND diet as well. So you really want to focus on those plant-based foods, eating fish and poultry and low-fat dairy every single day.
So, Chrystal, that's all a lot of great information to have. So let's talk about the turkey taco lettuce wraps. What made you want to make the turkey taco lettuce wraps?
The turkey taco lettuce wraps are something that, a lot of people like. Kids, adults, everybody likes tacos. And so this is just a healthier spin on it. And it's very easy to make. Use some quick ingredients. You can prep a lot of the ingredients ahead of time, and then it's easy to pull it out that evening and fix those taco lettuce wraps. They also travel well too, so if you're going to have lunch the next day, you can always put the meat mixture in a bowl and take some lettuce with you, and you can whip those right up the next day for lunch. So it's easy to do. One of the things, it's got lots of fresh vegetables in it, and so those fresh vegetables have fiber and they're really good for us. It's also got black beans in it, and then the avocado, which is going to have that good healthy fat in it that we want. One thing that you'll notice is this recipe also uses queso fresco, which literally means fresh cheese.
Oh.
So yeah,
I didn't know it was fresh
from
cheese.
skim milk, so that's why it's a better cheese choice, because a lot of cheeses can be really high in fat and they're really salty, they're really high in sodium.
Absolutely.
But this fresh cheese isn't. Like I say, it's made from skim milk, so it's a lot lower in fat. But you have to remember, it's not the same as the queso dip that you get at your local Mexican restaurant that you dip your chips in. It's different.
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw the recipe on filming day, I was like, oh, yes, queso. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's not. But it's, yeah.
So one of the things that you want to do is make sure you season that ground turkey when you're cooking it, because ground turkey can be a little bland if you don't add things to it. Now that doesn't mean you salt it to death, but you want to add things like garlic and onion, and then using chili powder instead of to get that taco flavor into it. You want to use the chili powder instead of a taco seasoning pack. Those taco seasoning packs are really high in sodium. If you ever read the back of the label on it, it's got a lot of sodium in it, and you can get that same flavor by simply adding chili powder to it, because that's basically what taco seasoning is.
Life hack. I didn't know that. There you go.
So instead of, just use that in the recipe instead. Adding the beans and the corn to that ground turkey, you're also going to give it flavor, and it's going to increase the fiber content. So one thing that, I like to focus on too with these diets is whole grains.
We've talked on several podcasts about whole grains and the importance of that.
They are. And refined grains we want to kind of limit. Well, a flour tortilla is going to be what we kind of consider a refined grain.
Gotcha.
So, they have to process it a lot to turn it into a flour tortilla. Not that it's bad for you, but sometimes it's good to make a replacement with, the leaf lettuce.
Yeah, sure.
And so, using that instead of the taco shells it's a great way to also increase your, green leafy vegetable intake. We need to eat green leafy vegetables every single day because they're good for us.
Absolutely. What about for the people who don't like lettuce? Like my mom, she used to like it. She doesn't like it now for whatever reason, but I know she would love this recipe. So what's an alternative to lettuce that somebody could use?
You can use corn tortillas, and like I say, the flour tortillas, you can use the whole wheat flour tortillas as well. And those are an even healthier option than the just regular white tortillas.
Gotcha.
So.
I guess it's not uncommon for people to they go to a restaurant and get tacos, but in a bowl. So you can make this in a bowl as well, I would assume.
Easily.
Yeah. Well, cool.
And one other thing that it has with it's going to have the homemade Pico de Gallo, which is great.
I love Pico.
And it's so easy to make. It's some tomatoes and some onions, and you just put a little cilantro, and then just simply put lime juice on it.
It's simple.
And yeah, it is. And it's something that you can keep in your refrigerator all the time and use too. And you can use pico as a topping on anything, not even
absolutely.
just Mexican dishes. It's really easy to, grill chicken, grill a boneless, skinless chicken breast and top it with pico, and it, gives it lots.
I'm actually grilling chicken tonight, so I think I'm going to do that. That's a great idea.
Go on top of it.
Nice.
Yep. And it's a quick, easy thing to do. So.
Absolutely.
And one of the other things is add an avocado to the top of it, because that avocado's got that good, healthy, monounsaturated fatty acids that's good for our heart.
Oh,
so that's,
okay.
We want to include those things as well.
Well, there you go. I'm very fortunate enough to be able to record the podcast, but I'm even more fortunate enough to be on the video crew whenever these recipes are being cooked right in front of us. And I have to say, take it from someone who is there, these turkey taco lettuce wraps are delicious. You're not going to be disappointed when you make them at home. Listeners, if you're listening and you want to find the recipe, it's going to be in the bottom of the description. It'll also be on the West Tennessee Healthcare website. Chrystal, these were delicious, and this podcast has been very informative, and I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and this has been another episode of We Talk Health.